Attention gamers, picture this. You are playing a ranked game in League of Legends wearing your Wicked Witch hat on this yordle wielding a cauldron cannon having your way with a light-bending blonde babe, and even though some deplorable kill stealing has occurred, you are cool with it because you were raised in a way that made you try and win games and contests that you participate in, and it works out when he returns the favor by holding your wave after you left to gank bot, which was successful by the way. But seeing as he is defending your lane, you opt to push bot and to make their dead ADC miss a bit of P,X, but then it happens. It turns out you and this kindred have drastically different opinions on what holding a wave means, and his interpretation involves greeting for a kill in the presence of two enemies and dying. So while you are bot thinking everything is fine and f***ing dandy, back at home you are taking a plate and getting another damn kill for your team, you have now woken up a monster. Now your misunderstanding that he had a functional brain is your fault, and your instinct is to put a muzzle on that barking dog. A few minutes later, after having said nothing, you unmute just in time to see that he has so generously decided to gift the enemy team a win. Introducing the mental boom. A common occurrence in League of Legends players that happens as a result of too much caffeine mixed with a subconscious sense of self-loathing due to tying one's own self-worth to a rank in a game that pisses you off. All while living a sexless/incomeless existence in your mother's basement, where your greatest source of gratification in life is confusingly making random teammates online that you have never met and will never see again suffer, even if it is at the cost of your time as well as the time of other innocent bystanders, i.e. your teammates. When this occurs, all sense of logic or trying to be adults about any situation flies out the window, and the chance of you succeeding in the game drops to almost non-existent levels. Mental booms are something that have always existed but have risen at alarming rates in recent months, to the point where sometimes both teams will simultaneously be experiencing one, to the point where the game feels like that South Park episode when every team in the baseball league is actively trying to lose their games because they hate it.
Look, we're gonna be the losers tonight, alright? I don't think so. There's no way you can lose to us. We're going down. We're gonna get creamed. No, we're gonna get creamed. We'll just see about that.
So today we are going to look at a rather common case of the mental boom in a winnable game and analyze all of the failed logical approaches I tested to stop it, as well as the one successful one that I accidentally stumbled upon to hopefully help you in the next game of League of Legends the next time you experience something like this. So please take a moment to absolutely Sandusky my subscribe button. Let me know in the comments if you have found a successful method of dealing with a mental boom, and let's get into the game. Okay, so game starts. I'm taking a piss in the shrubs before the hoodlums arrive, prepping for some cheese, when bam, the band-aid gets ripped off, no pun intended, and this acts as a welcome mat for flame pings and giving up, I guess. So in case you forgot, this is League. We have two people on our team who already hate each other not even 90 seconds into the game. Anyways, I decide to protect the crying tampon while he breaks in and steals some of their valuables, and then when the Jax tries to go counter crook on our ass, I'm there like white on rice to show him the anticlimactic power of a level 2 Quinn rocking a dagger and the biscuit mommy packed me for school today, but it works out when both I and Jax's balls get blue. But the problem with babysitting your teammates so they don't get shit shafted and quit is you typically age a lot slower than, let's say, a fat royal ram who is now 2 levels older than you and able to summon the ghost of his dead grandpa's spirit to Zamboni your ass under tower, which may seem odd, but it was an even trade. That said, my bot laners are now feeding off of each other's virginity pheromones and directing all their energy towards tag team flaming the sad midget mummy, who ends up finding us a wild levitating baked Alaska, which prompts her giant ass hand to make a run for it as she does the cute port and pretend to be an Ice Cube routine. Brands like I'm down here but I will decorate the battlefield with question marks as Ali Oxenfree takes a shit on Band-Aid Boy, which leaves him stuck in an orgy with 2 large crabs and my Phoenix fetish ass, so he goes down leaving just Icy Ivy, thinking we are just going to act like a profanity censor and get the f out of here, but I combo in a way that makes my pet bird descend for a few deuces on her dumb horny head to ensure she melts to my ignite. Then I decide to pay a surprise visit bot, which totally wasn't a poor decision or anything, when only low elo players will understand you sometimes need to keep the bitching brand from mental booming even if it makes you a bit behind. So I inform MF that if this were an OnlyFans popularity contest she would probably destroy me with that figure, but in this particular setting I hold the advantage, hoping the assist G's will act as a binky for this brand to STFU for a bit. That said, the second I leave these inting idiots alone, one dies and the others start publicly shaming the sad little shitter. So even though my next encounter with this obese evolved garden gnome ends in his ancestor arriving just in time to see his grandson embarrass the family name, I have bigger problems to deal with. For example, why in the blueberry fuck muffins is there ADC up here? So yeah, chalk that one up to this little ass wagon not doing his job. But I live by the motto an eye for an eye, so you better believe I went straight back to their lane to look at this Lululemon little titted twerp and say you can shove as many Coke and Mentos up your asshole you want. I'm still punting you back to base, as this mental boom pending brand makes an attempt at a joke, but the only funny thing is this kid still believes in Santa. Haha, I knew he was a virgin, but it turns out when he isn't typing up a stupid storm he likes to spend his time letting whatever that thing Jax calls not a weapon get shoved straight up his culturized anus, and to be honest that boosted baton twirler would have doubled these douches if I didn't swoop in faster than a cheetah driving a Ferrari down a wind tunnel on ice. So yeah, while I'm sacrificing my own quality of life at home, at least I feel like I am mitigating the moronic madness which is also known as the bot diff, as I'm even trying to hype up these losers so they don't quit on me and call me a Starbucks franchise, because I was just popping up everywhere and supplying a much needed boost to these bitchzillas at the perfect time. Hashtag fuck Donnie and Joe Ravon Quinn for President 2024. But it doesn't stop the fact that even after good events, our pre-mental boom brand is still acting as if he just put a DraftKings sports gambling bet down against our jungler winning, which meant I had to book another flight south to make sure Bobby Bull with the big balls didn't have his way. Also, side note, fuck me in the belly button for accidentally clicking on a minion off screen during my escape route, which made me pause just long enough to take another tower shot. Holy shit, my gameplay is hard to watch, isn't that right, all you challenger players typing those kind of comments with your Doritos encrusted fingers? Anyways, something that looks like what a news station will later call a COVID super spreader breaks out as my high IQ Glacier Quinn just made that MF ult reduced to a tickle type of damage. Hashtag get out intelligence to you plebs that are probably all going to climb faster than me, but for now, typically events that end like this means there's a good light at the end of the tunnel, right? Wrong. You see, even though our feeding flaming support brand just copped himself a blue buff from the previous super spreader, he feels entitled to an additional blue buff, and here is where it happened. Every mental boom has a trigger, and this one was when the monoless mummy took his own blue from the support brand who already had one. GG. The brand says in a cocky but I have a micro cock tone, as he then makes a public announcement that he is a world-class twinkle dick before, yep, you've guessed it because you've seen it before, he starts running it down. Now you have to act quick when a mental boom presents itself, but my first strategy was too simple to have any chance of working, merely telling him to not do that. Even if it was followed by me and the midget mummy he hates teaming up on a large blueberry popsicle as a way for me to illustrate that we are literally winning the game at this point. Naive of me to think that would work. On to method number 2, and I honestly hate to play this card, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Inform this shitter that the red light is on and flash the sub count like I'm some silicon-chested babe trying to get into Coachella, but that was dumb as people literally feed on purpose to get into my videos. Method 3, get on my knees, drop my dignity, open up my pie hole and beg, reminding the mental boomer that others will be affected by his stupid virginity vendetta against our jungler, to which of course why wouldn't this hole poked in the condom aftermath demand an apology from Amumu as the one condition to end the mental boom. And considering even with the touchdown running we are still holding our own pretty well, I'm not about to lose a practically one game over this shit, so I tell Amumu to swallow his gauze pad pride and give the burnt baby what he wants. But Amumu is an instigator, so I know the chance of that is non-existent. So at this point I would actually like to pause and ask a more polarizing question that I think is very debatable. Would you consider Amumu not apologizing, knowing that brand will keep running it down if he doesn't, as trolling behavior as well and part of the problem with this player base? Anyways, I move on to the next method, which is to try to teach the dirty dishrag of a person about this thing called logic and how he is only hurting himself and others by spiting a random person he has never met, to which the most infamous quote of a mental boomer comes out.
He doesn't deserve to win.
This just freaking pisses me off, to be frank, because as I then reply, so why punish the rest of the team? But there is no reasoning with these people, as you all probably know. So he keeps demanding an apology as if this Amumu like fucked his girlfriend right in front of him or something, when in reality, the Amumu was popping off more than a shaked champagne cork, which just makes the entire situation more ironically idiotic. But this partial ace gave us the opportunity to circle jerk a giant wiener off in Baron Pit, which was risky, and I just knew if that babe in the Buccaneer outfit found a match I was gonna have to put my ass on the line, and even though I'm not expecting any type of memorial service for my noble sacrifice, what's important is that it gave the rest of my coworkers that purple jizz marination which would help us pressure things like Dragon, to which I set the dangerous precedent of having Valor drag me by my gooch hair straight into bad decisions in order to proc Glacial and set the carries on my team up for success. which I am stubbornly still to this day defending as worth, which is 1 why I'm hard stuck forever, but 2 prompted their jacks to remind us that this is League of Legends and they likely have a dicks for head toxic mental boom thread as well, and this is when I accidentally found the cure to this mental boom. First you show your temper tantruming twat that the enemy has a more fucked up family than ours, and then since he's just looking for someone random online to hate, you direct his hate toward an enemy player, and you know what happens? He freaking hero status big dicks a Baron Steel, and then the bitch Band-Aid hits him up for the most hilariously effective collab of the decade, so I double down on the approach to publicly flame the enemy to keep the power of mental boom aimed away from my own team. Then I do my part in making what this large freeze pop thinks is gonna be the best day of her life into her last, to which target acquired we have found our enemy mental boomer, with the giveaway sign being when she said, "I'm not retard." And I'm thinking, okay, whatever helps you sleep at night, honey, because at least now our brand was casting all his abilities before running it down, which on that champion is really all that needs to happen for us to murder everyone else on the other family once more and release me from this tainted game. But just when I thought I found a cure to the infamous mental boom, in the very next game we had an Akali who was so fed you'd think she was a bird stuck in a bakery 5-0, but then 25 minutes into the game she dies, which must have triggered the mental boom gene, and bam, the FF vote comes out in another already won game in jeopardy. So even though I was big as Godzilla shit as well, long-time viewers of my channel know it's only a matter of time before a game resting on my shoulders gets thrown, as our once-fed mental boom Akali is AFK farming our jungle and then defiantly sitting in fountain rather than clearing a wave, which would have probably changed the outcome of the game. So with that, let's take it back to the kindred from the intro to sign us off. Rav out.
Don't fuck with Rabby boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy. Talk to me slick and don't pop in your pappy. If happy talk back, then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy I'll make her happy.